The Accidental Counsellor Training is a solution-focused approach to counselling, coaching, and mentoring. It has a focus on client strengths and possibilities rather than problems and weaknesses. It's for you if you're a school or community service staff, anyone really not trained as a professional counsellor, but often find yourself in a counselling role by accident due to the nature of your work or the role that you're in. There are 3 ways that you can access the Accidental Counsellor Training. You can come to a live face-to-face event, or you can enroll in our online courses, or invite us to your school or organisation to run the training in-house. Now, in this video, I want to share with you 3 of the most critical aspects of being an accidental counsellor and how you can access a free 60-minute online accidental counsellor training that you can watch anytime that works best for you. The accidental counsellor model shows you the 3 most critical factors for you as an accidental counsellor. The biggest mistake that I see from accidental counsellors is that they tend to rush in to give advice and suggestions or solutions to the problems that people present. The problem with that is that when you give people advice, the research shows, and your own experience may show, that when you tell people what to do, when you give them advice, when you give them suggestions and solutions, that their motivation for doing it actually lessens, even if it was something they wanted to do in the first place. Not only that, it communicates to the person that they're not able to discover what I like to call their own next best step. I have some catchphrases that can make this a little bit easier. Ask, don't tell. That is, ask solution-focused questions that we teach in the Accidental Counsellor Training to help the person discover their own next best step. When you ask these targeted solution-focused questions and the person is able to reflect and go into their own inner world, their thoughts and emotions to discover what's best for them, the likelihood that they'll take action is much, much higher. It also empowers the person. The problem with rushing in and trying to influence the conversation up front is that the person's motivation lessens and it's not empowering. It's not communicating to the person that they know their own next best step. We need to facilitate that, asking these targeted solution-focused questions. Even if we ask these solution-focused questions, there can be a problem. We can be confronted with a lot of resistance, or the person will say, I don't know. And that's because we need to pace the person. And what I mean by that is we need to be able to connect, and not just rapport, much more than that. We need to get into the pit with the person. What I see many times is that when someone's upset or distressed, that we can tend to be up and positive or optimistic and give cliche type responses like, it'll be okay, just give it time, these types of things to try to reassure and make the person feel better. But what really helps is that we actually get into the pit with the person, we join them, and we acknowledge, validate, and even normalize their experience. When that happens, the person doesn't feel so alone. Really what happens is that the person feels like you get it. They feel like you understand where they're coming from. They feel heard to, they feel listened to. And then they begin to trust you more, they feel more safe, and they begin to calm down. And when that happens, then we can ask these solution-focused questions that we talk about in the influence part of the training. When we actually jump in the pit and join the person in their pain where they're at, it can take a toll on us. And that's why I think we need to be able to manage and look after our own well-being and self-care. And oftentimes I say that we treat our phones better than we treat ourselves. If our phone is low on 10% charge, we'd be rushing around looking for a charger to recharge the phone. But when we're tired, when we're low on energy, we tend to keep pushing through. And this then can really make us feel like we're underwater, that we're carrying everyone else's burdens and problems. It's not our job to actually fix people's problems as an accidental counsellor. It's our job to hold a space, a supportive space, a loving space, so that the person can find their own next best step, their own way forward, with the proper support around them. So the three critical aspects of an accidental counsellor is, one, look after your own well-being and self-care so that then you can join people where they're at in their pain and upset. And when that happens, the person feels heard and listened to, they trust you, they feel more calm and feel more safe. And when that happens, then we can ask these targeted solution focused questions that can help the person reflect on their next best step. I hope you found this accidental counsellor model helpful. There are three ways that you can access the accidental counsellor training. You can come to a live face-to-face event, or you can enroll in our online courses, or invite us to your school or organisation to run the training in-house.